So, hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you on Ecoholics YouTube platform that is there to cater the needs of RBI Grade B, Grade A aspirants. Now, in today's live session, from the thumbnail itself, you could have got the idea that today we will be seeing the importance of monetization or the asset monetization. I would say now, this word asset monetization, why is it important? Why is it working as a major fuel towards India's infrastructure development? Okay? And how it is different from privatization. So, whenever we'll talk about monetization or asset monetization, the first thing that strikes in people's head, like we are talking about privatization. But no, that's not true. Asset monetization is quite different, is an entirely different concept as compared to privatization. And in India, if you see, asset monetization is something that have a huge potential to not only boost the infrastructure sector but also the other sector. Because in India, if you see, in a democratic country, okay, there are different kind of goods in economics. If you see, there are public goods, there are private goods, okay. Then public goods are things that can only be catered by government because most of the times they don't provide that much economic viability to the private investors and to the private sector people. So that is the reason. So if you see, because of this particular requirement, because of this particular compulsion of Indian government, not only the Indian government, all sovereign governments, there are multiple assets that are there in countries whose you can say the potential has not been utilized to its optimum level. There are multiple assets, okay, whose potential has not got utilized at their optimum level. For an example, if you see, there are railways, okay. Now IRCTC is not an government entity, it's a private entity, but railway is an entirely government entity. Now IRCTC is there that manages the ticketing system, now food delivering system, and many other services. Even if you can book from IRCTC app, you can book the flights as well. Then you can book your dormitory residency on for the platforms for the railway stations as well. So multiple facilities IRCTC provide. Now IRCTC is a major example of how the monetization can work. It is quite different from privatization, okay. In asset monetization, we'll talk about transferring the right to manage and to operate, but not we don't transfer the ownership. So this is a basic difference. And let me tell you, as I was giving you an example, that in a country like India, there are multiple things that government needs to cater for those, and to cater all these stuffs, government has to spend some amount of money or to cater a specific sector that is not that much economically viable. And even if it is economically viable, just because it is in a ambit of government sector, it is not performing well or their potential is not getting utilized. So for these kind of purposes, the asset monetization is something that becomes a boon, okay. Now in India, if you take the example of India, then in India, the asset monetization is working phenomenally well, okay. We are we are garnering, we are accumulating a lot of capital, a lot of funds just from the strategic asset monetization, okay. In India, it is working phenomenally well. Now let's see what is this asset monetization is, how it is important for India's infrastructure, and why we are covering this particular topic in our live session. Obviously, if we are covering something in our live session, that particular thing must be there in the news, then only it becomes important. Now, see, infrastructure development is something that is going to be there in a news. It was in the news in past as well. It is in present as well as in future as well, because India is an emerging economy. India is a developing country. Infrastructure is a you can see the development of infrastructure is a dire need of our economy at this point of time. Now, infrastructure has an impact on each and every sector. If you see, okay, because of the urbanization, we are a developing country. Urbanization is a trend of all developing countries. We need infrastructure in our urban sector to do well or to accommodate this people who are migrating from rural to urban India, and because of this, urbanization is happening. Okay? Then even if you want to get FDI, then as well the foreign investors see what is the infrastructure level of this country. Okay? Even the logistics sectors, the road transport, the telecommunication area, you can say, and the airports and the marine sector. In every sector, infrastructure is extremely important. Starting from the residential areas where we live, starting from the residential areas to the roads in which we are traveling, okay, and then the marine sector as well, to transport other things, then the port development, airport development, railway stations, roads, everything is infrastructure, okay. And to boost infrastructure of our country, it is extremely important to capitalize or to garner a lot of capital. Now, strategic asset monetization is one of the tools via which Indian government is trying to monetize its government assets, and via collecting those capital, they will be pumping those collected capital in the infrastructure sector. This is what the whole strategic word means. It has a specific strategy that how asset monetization will work, why we are doing this asset monetization, and how it will be impacting India's infrastructure sector. So it is a pillar, as we say now. Whenever we'll talk about the digital India, or the you can say the financial inclusion and all kind of stuff. So we always say that UPI is a pillar of India's digital sector or India's digital stack. So on the same note, strategic asset monetization is a pillar of India's infrastructure push. Okay? Now let's move ahead. Let's see why it was in news. So first of all, recently in the Lok Sabha session, okay, the Union Minister of Road and Transport, Nitin Gadkari, has informed that government has mobilized 1,42,758 crores through various asset monetization initiatives up to financial year 25. Okay? It means till the last financial year, government has mobilized this much amount of fund just from a single strategic asset monetization scheme. ठीक है? And for the current fiscal year, the projected contribution from asset monetization is 30,000 crores. So it is a extremely important thing for our infrastructure sector. How it is, let me tell you. Now, what is asset monetization and its need? So, asset monetization refers to converting an asset into source of revenue or cash flow. Okay? You have an asset. Now you are converting that asset into a source of revenue or cash flow. In public finance, it refers to leveraging existing assets to generate returns without outright sale. Outright sale is not happening. It is not getting privatized. First of all, for example, let me give you an example. There is a railway station. Okay? Now there is a railway station. It has a major importance in that area. Okay? Because it might be in a industrial area. A lot of people utilizes. Even the location of the railway station is strategic. Okay? It is in between multiple major railway stations. Now, because of funding issues or because of any reason, government is not able to develop that particular railway station, as well as to utilize its important to its optimum level. Now, what government will do? Government will give that particular railway station to a private entity. Now, private entities are famous, or is it perfect in their working scheme. ठीक है? They have more efficiency, they have better development abilities as compared to government, because government has a lot of things to do as well, ठीक है, at the same point of time. So that particular railway station will be transferred to a public entity to operate. They will operate it, and some say, and a bit of share or a major share of the operating revenue they will transfer to the government. Now, see, earlier government has multiple issues. They were not able to develop it. They were having financial, you can say, limitations. Okay? And multiple issues was there with the railway station. Now private entity came, they acquired it, they developed it. Now they are managing it efficiently. They are generating huge amount of revenue, as well as they are transferring a huge chunk of that revenue to the government. So now that railway station was an asset. That railway station was an asset of Indian government. Even after, when government collaborated with a private entity to operationalize or to develop and then to continue the operations of that railway station, it is going to be a government asset only the operating rights has been transferred to a private entity. So this is asset monetization. What it is the asset monetization. It is not a privatization. Government is not selling its share in that particular entity. Okay? We only do the collaboration with a private entity, and then we you can say we convert that particular government asset or public asset into a source of revenue. This is what asset monetization means. Why I am explaining this thing too much? Because whenever asset monetization comes in your head, even if you heard this even if you hear this term anywhere, the first thing strike in our heads that we are talking about privatization. No, asset monetization is not privatization. Privatization is outright sale of government share in that particular public asset. We are not selling we are not selling the shares of Indian government or any government from any public asset while doing asset monetization. Now, what is the need for asset monetization? So it unlocks the economic value of underutilized or idle public asset. This is what I was saying. Okay? Underutilized. Their potential is not getting utilized at the optimum level. So it unlocks the economic value of the underutilized public asset. That it creates new revenue stream for governments and public entities. It is quite clear to you now. Focus on public assets, so includes roads, railways, airports, pipelines, mobile towers, etc. These are the areas. Now you must have seen that multiple airports are now getting operated by private entities. Multiple ports are getting operationalized by private entities. I gave you an example of railway. Even roads are getting manufactured in PPP model: build, operate, tool, and then transfer. Okay? So these kind of focus, they have these kind of focuses on public area assets. Now it emphasizes on brownfield asset. Now what is the difference between a greenfield and brownfield asset? It is extremely easy. Greenfield assets are those assets that we erect from scratch. Brownfield assets are those assets that are already there in existence, but their economic value is underutilized. They have not developed, they have not got developed as per their potential, as per their needs. And these are the brownfield assets. Okay? A small helipad you can take as a brownfield asset. There is an existence of helipad, but it has not got utilized as per their optimum utilization level. The development is less. So that is a brownfield asset. Now greenfield assets are those assets, there is nothing, there is a green field, there's a grass over there. Okay? You have to you have to establish an asset from scratch, from zero. That is a greenfield asset. But in asset monetization we talks about brownfield assets. It emphasizes on already existing infrastructure facilities, and then converting those underutilized infrastructure or any kind of assets into a source of revenue or cash flow. Okay? Now, brownfield asset example, if you'll ask me to example, a private player leases an existing infrastructure facility. It can be a power plant, it can be a highway, to operate, upgrade, and generate revenue, and then they will share a major chunk of that revenue with the government. Okay? Models of asset monetization in India. What are the different models? So the first model is toll, operate, and transfer. You must have paid the toll. Okay? So that is something that you will build a road, then you will collect the toll for a specific period of time, when whatever amount. So government specifies a time that for this particular time you will be collecting toll from this, and in this time you will be getting back your investment, as well as you will earn some amount of profit as well. So toll, operate, and transfer. Design, build, finance, operate, and then transfer. Okay? Infrastructure investment trust are there. So infrastructure investment trust and real estate investment trust, RBI is releasing a lot of guidelines on these two trust entities. Okay? And it is extremely important. These are the future, these are the kind of trust that are the future of India's investment sector. Okay? RBI is also releasing a lot of you can say guidelines and circulars for these kind of trust. If you are a paid member of our courses, over there we have a classes of RBI circulars and SEBI circulars. So over there you must be knowing that RBI is releasing a lot of guidelines, government is releasing out a lot of guidelines and regulations for these trusts, because these are the futures. Then real estate investment trust. Then we have project based financing, long term lease model, asset concession, etc. So these are the various models under which we are doing the asset monetization in our country. Now moving ahead, For this particular strategic asset monetization, we have a scheme as well. We have a, you can say, strategy and a you can say plan as well. Okay? And the name of that plan is National Monetization Pipeline, NMP. Now, what is this pipeline is all about? So it is a flagship initiative to promote sustainable infrastructure financing. It focuses on monetizing operational public infrastructure asset. They want to monetize the brownfield asset or already operational public infrastructure assets. It envisions a monetization potential of 6 lakh crores through leasing core assets of central government and PSUs. And what is the status? Till now, we have, till financial year 25, we have mobilized around 1 lakh 42,758 crores till financial year 25. And under the national monetization pipeline, we have a mandate that we can generate, or we can accumulate capital worth of 6 lakh crores from under the national monetization pipeline. It is prepared by Niti Aayog in collaboration with land ministries. Now, obviously, infrastructure related ministries is going to be there: civil aviation, power, railways, roads, telecom, petroleum, and natural gas, etc. Coverage sectors and asset classes. It targets brownfield infrastructure assets. Sectors include roads, railways, airports, oil and gas pipelines, telecom, power, mining, warehousing, etc. Top five sectors are, you must be remembering these top five sectors: roads, railways, powers, oil and gas pipelines, and telecom sector. These are the top five sectors in which you can have an idea that national monetization pipeline is targeting these areas. Okay? Roads, very common thing. You must be utilizing a lot of roads in your daily lives. Okay? We pay tolls whenever we go to any expressway or highway, or whenever we go, we have to pay toll. So that particular thing is happening because we have a PPP model for the development of infrastructure, specifically the roads, and then they work on the this model: toll, operate, and transfer. Okay? We have railways. Then you guys must have heard about the ticketing system has got private. Sorry, the ticketing system got monetized because of ICTC. Then we have the private entities are taking over the functionality of railway stations. So that is also a thing. Okay? Power generation substations or the power generation power plants are getting overtaken by private entities because they obviously they work efficiently. They have multiple pros as compared to a government entity. Oil and gas pipelines, telecom, etc. Okay? Then how monetization framework work? So the first and foremost thing that I have added over here is right, not the ownership. Government retain the assets ownership. Do keep this statement in your head. Government retains the asset ownership while doing the monetization. Okay? Asset revert after the lease period. It just give that particular asset, public asset, government asset, to a private entity on a lease for a specific time period to operate and transfer. Okay? Some revenue. Stable revenue model. It focuses on de-risked brownfield asset with predictable income, defined partnership, structured contract with clear key performing, you can say key performing issues and performance standards. Okay? Then alignment with NIP. So national infrastructure pipeline is also there. So whatever the money we accumulate via national monetization pipeline, we pump that money in national infrastructure pipeline worth 111 trillion. Okay? Worth is there's a worth 111 trillion is the worth of this national infrastructure pipeline. Okay? Proceeds from NMP reinvested into new greenfield and brownfield projects. So whatever revenue we generate from national monetization, strategic national monetization, we reinvest into a greenfield and brownfield project. So this is how the entire India's emerging infrastructure sector is getting funded, is getting financed. Okay? Government has a lot of areas to do the expenditure. Okay? They have to do capital expenditure, a lot of things. Defense is there, education is there, health is there. But infrastructure cannot be neglected. Without infrastructure, we cannot imagine the development of our economy. We cannot imagine the development of our economy without having a proper and robust infrastructure. It impacts foreign investment, it impacts logistics sector, it impacts the urbanization, it impacts everything. Starting whatever the fundamental things are there in economy, it get impacted because of infrastructure. Okay? So this was it. And that was the this was the extremely important topic from the point of view of RBI examination, because infrastructure is something that is a major component of the paper one, that is economic and social issues. In social issues we have the issues of infrastructure. Okay, if you want to see the what is the infrastructure issue, now you can visit any government hospital, even some kind of you can say some railway station, you will see. Okay, that what is the issue with infrastructure, है ना? Even the conditions of roads. If you want to imagine, if you just want to experience that why this strategic monetization is important for the development of infrastructure in country, you can watch multiple areas, you can see the requirement, है ना? Chalo. And that was the reason we are having these live sessions, and thank you so much for joining today's live session. And if you want to download this data for free of cost, you can download our app that is available on Google Play Store. And if you have any kind of queries in regards to this data or any paid data or paid courses that we provide, that is there for your benefit, you can contact on this number. You can take the screenshot of this number and you can contact our academic counselors, and whatever queries you will be having in regards to any free courses or free data or paid courses or paid data that we have on our platform, every queries of yours will get resolved over there in a most appropriate manner. Okay, and do subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell, because on a daily basis we are going live with such a great interesting topic that is extremely important from the point of view of upcoming RBI examination. Now by 8th of September you will be having the notification of RBI in the newspapers, and by the end of October, or by the first week of November, you can expect your phase 1 examination as well. So these live sessions are extremely important for you people. So do subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell, so whenever we go live you will get the notification at first. Till then, have a great day ahead. Bye.